Five.
It's live. You can mute my mic, please. Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Sarcast. I am your host, Steve Lybrand. Joining me as he does each and every week, Mr. Robert Rennie.
What's up, homie?
What's up, my brother?
What's going on?
A lot. The world is in turmoil right now.
Oh, we expected that.
I hoped it wouldn't, but
Are you talking about the election still,
that's part of it.
or the Corona?
Oh, my man Brandon's watching. I gotta fix my hair. Brandon's watching. Oh, shit. So we are live on CB Pro Live on the Sarcast and on our individual pages. You can check us out each and every Wednesday night, starting at 6 o'clock. We usually record for about an hour. If you ever missed a show on Wednesday night, you can always tune back in and catch it via your podcast, wherever you download podcasts at. We do have a big show coming up next week. We're going to be doing a live show from Patty Wax in the Northeast. It's for WMMR's Camp Out for Hunger charity. Bring a food item, non-perishable, and you can get a free beer or a free order of patty chips. So Laura Lee and her team over there at Patty Wax has been awesome with us, and we're really excited for that event, and we're hoping that we can pack the house.
Yeah, shoot, it's going to be a fun time.
Oh, Brandon, he said I look fabulous.
Oh, what's up, BC? He's out there winning championships.
That's what he does.
Left
Kid's
and
a
right.
winner. Kid's a winner. So yeah, we had an election. We talked about it a little bit last week. They're kind of at the point where they declared it, but they're going through like all the legal battles of it now. So, this is where we are. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I got a question about that for you.
what do you got?
So they declared it, right?
Right.
Bro, I've never seen more of a celebration for like a declare of something.
So I got that vibe too, and my feeling on it all was that, like, it was almost like a dictator was overthrown.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there was celebrations in the street.
It's so funny, dude. I never even thought of that, but the only time you ever see that is in foreign countries, like when Saddam Hussein got killed.
Yep.
Like Iraq was celebrating like that.
Yep.
Except they were firing guns off.
So this is when you see it. When a dictator gets overthrown, a country gets liberated, or somebody drops a house on a witch. Those three times are the only times. And if Donald Trump loses an election.
But she said he didn't lose.
I mean, he lost it. There's telltale things. So for everybody that's home, I'm going to do this in the most nonpartisan way I can do it. So first of all, if there's rigging being done with the election poll, it's really, really hard to do because of the fact that they have both a Republican and a Democratic counter in there, and they can disqualify votes at any point. The second thing is, majority of people vote up and down the ticket, whatever their political party is.
Mm-hmm.
So in specific areas, if you just have one candidate winning and not the other, it's kind of stupid. So Joe Biden is almost doesn't have as much power if they don't win the Senate as well. And they lost key Senate races that they thought they had a chance in.
Right.
But they won the presidency in that spot. So if you were going to rig it, you'd go for the whole shebang, not just one.
Well, so here's my thing too about rigging it.
Uh-huh.
Do you know how many people you have to have on board to rig something like that?
100%. We talk about this all the time in like professional sports. Like when people go, oh, it's scripted and it's fake. And it's like, do you understand how many people would have to be involved and everybody's going to keep their goddamn mouth shut? Like, no, it's not going to work that way. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's too many moving parts. It's the same thing where people are like, oh, COVID's going to go away as soon as the election's over. It's a conspiracy by the media just to screw Trump. And it's like the entire world conspired together and they're all keeping their mouths shut about it because they want to get that guy out of the office. Like, that's ridiculous, man.
It is. Like,
you sound ridiculous when you say things like that. Not you, but people. If you're at home, I'm talking about you, people.
Yeah, like, bro,
the entire world is not conspiring against him. They're not.
But so people were saying that about the Corona stuff when it first started. Like,
right.
Like, people are just doing it to make Donald Trump look bad. And I was like, dude, you have a whole world dealing with this, and you're telling me that they're doing it just to make him look bad?
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. We're not that smart.
They fucked up the entire world economy to get rid of this guy. That was their plan. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vanity of America, where we spend so much time being, the model for what a country should look like, that we think that everybody just follows suit and we're public enemy number one. And we're not.
Correct.
And it's amazing to me that we're in this position now, where it's going to be a legal battle. And people are like, oh, there's affidavits and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I posted something last night because I didn't realize this, but Donald Trump is begging for donations for his legal fund.
I read that. I was like, what? Wait, so the money's going to his campaign.
Correct. It's going to cover
the bills.
To pay off the bills, which I thought was interesting because you literally have people that are out of work that are begging for $1,200 in a stimulus package to try to keep their lights on and keep their kids and their families fed.
Yeah, but
try to do everything that they possibly can. And somehow this fucking guy was able to run up a $120 million debt to his campaign. He overspent by $120 million. Like, how the hell is that possible? Like, literally, if I go over, like, let's say I don't pay my cable bill for 2 months, they're cutting me off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm cutting you off.
Dude, your bank won't let you,
right.
Like, your bank would just stop you at,
do you think it's like it for his campaign? Imagine what it would be like if it was like the typical citizen, like he overdrafted the account and they just kept banging him with the $35 a billion times. He's got $35 million in overdraft charges on his campaign fund. I can't withdraw. I got to move money from my savings to my campaign account because it's rung up right now. But yeah, so they put a stipulation in it that says if you donate, that's awesome. And we're going to fight this all the way to the end. But we're going to use 50 to 60% of this money to pay off my campaign debt. And I think in a week, these people sent him like $60 million. Dude. $60 million.
Bro, I don't understand what he has on people.
I honestly, I don't know.
Like, I'll be clear. I'm not like a Trump guy. Like, I'm just not. Like,
I'm sure it's clear that neither one of us are.
Yeah, but I don't try.
We try to be down the middle, but it's hard. It's so hard.
But I'm not like. I don't think I'm as far as other people are with it.
Yep.
Like, for real. Mm-hmm. Like, I can actually like look down the middle and be like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I actually think he probably would have went down as a good president if he would have kept his mouth shut and kept off Twitter.
It's impossible.
But that's what he needed to do. Like, because of some of the things.
But I don't think he would have gone down as a great president. The things that people
I'm not saying great. I just said good.
Even good. The things that people cite really were out of his control.
Yeah, like Corona.
Well, no, like job creation. We had the lowest unemployment. Like, it was already dipping before he took office. Also, he has no control over that.
Right.
He can create jobs, but he can also allow jobs to leave. One of the big things that was part of the job creation thing is, let's say I'm an Uber driver and a Lyft driver, right? I drive for Uber and I drive for Lyft, and I work my regular job.
Okay.
I count as 3 people. Really? Each one of those jobs counts as an individual job. So when it goes to the job markets and they count it, I count as 3 people.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you lose your job, though, that's 3 people.
That's 3 people losing their. If I lose all 3 of my jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
I never knew that.
Right. So that's why the job market looks so good, because the gig economy explodes. Because things like Uber Eats, working a third shift at like Lowe's or taking a part-time job, you count as 2 people. So all these people who've given up looking for jobs, they no longer count.
Right.
Because they're not applying for unemployment anymore. They can't. They've timed out of it. So they don't have a job. They're not doing anything. And then everybody who goes out there and works 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, make up the difference for them. So while the job report looks awesome, it's really not.
Yeah. I didn't even know all that.
Secondly, the economy part of it. When people talk about how much he did for the economy, literally the only thing that he did was remove all of the sanctions that are put there to protect the average investor and the average person, like your mortgage rates and things like that. All they did was remove those restrictions and allowed them to trade like assholes again, willy-nilly, regardless of what happens to your invested money.
Right.
So naturally, investments are going to go up because they're going to go back to pre-sanctioned, times where they can just trade willy-nilly. So he didn't really do anything except for eliminate those rules. The other things that he did, he went hard after coal miners. And when he got elected, he put his own person in charge of the EPA. And that guy's job was basically just to strip every regulation.
Right.
So one of the things that I always complain about is when they go and they do these strip mines in the Appalachians, all along those towns, it's obviously the Appalachians are huge mountains. The towns that are below the mountains, all of that water that comes off the top of the mountains, it's runoff. It goes into their water streams. It's what they drink. So when they go up there and they strip mine the top of these mines, they rip them off and they use these chemicals to clear everything out. And that runs straight down the mountains into the water streams.
Yeah.
And it used to be illegal to do that. The new
he
EPA
removed
came
it.
in and he removed it. So when you look at companies that are getting invested in, a lot of the companies that they're investing in are companies that are now allowed to fucking break environmental rules and put us all at risk.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and how fitting was it that the places that he lost?
Pennsylvania.
Well, go to Flint, Michigan. They've had water problems for fucking 10 years, 8 years, whatever it's been. And as they were working towards it, he just ignored them. And Flint, Michigan was one of the places he lost.
Yeah.
He spent how many years talking shit about John McCain?
Okay.
Just trashing this guy who was also a Republican. You know what state he was from?
What was he from?
He's a senator from Arizona.
Arizona. And he lost Arizona.
He lost Arizona.
Yeah.
When you go out there and you say you need to watch out for the people in Philadelphia, because very bad things happen in Philadelphia. Very bad things do happen in Philadelphia.
Yeah. You can lose an election.
You can lose an election because of this.
Yeah. And he insisted it's cheating.
Absolutely.
His Twitter account is hilarious.
Honestly, the followers. Like one of the things that just makes me laugh is every time I see a conservative call a liberal a sheep.
Bro, here's what I love about Twitter.
Listen, if anybody led the sheeps to slaughter, it was him.
Yeah. Well,
he herded you all up, fed you everything you wanted to hear, made you fat and happy about yourself. And now, this is where you're at.
One of the things I love about what Twitter does to him now is they actually put like warnings on him.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey doesn't fuck around. He doesn't like Trump at all.
Yeah, like they actually put warnings, like some of his shit, they're just like, this could be fake. Like, dude, the guy who like called everyone fake news and now they're just putting this could be a fake news story
and
on his own shit.
On a serious note, as we kind of move on, I'll end with this. The media created this mess, and it was the media who ultimately undid him.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, when he ran for election, 5 years ago, when he started his campaign, they ate this shit up.
They loved it.
The media gave him more coverage and more time than any other person running for public office in the history of TV.
Yeah.
He was constantly on there, constantly talking about his rallies. They were constantly talking him up, and this is what happens.
Yeah. Well, even now,
and he goes out there and thinks he's a deity.
These large, my biggest riot ever, biggest.
Correct.
But
they wouldn't call him out on his bullshit.
Yeah. Well, they never did, and now they just cut him off, though.
Now they're calling him out on his bullshit
and cutting him off.
Absolutely.
Like I forget what was it the day after the election, he was doing like a press conference. And he was just spilling fake shit, and they just were like, "All right, we're done with this." They just completely cut away from it. It's like, wow, I've never seen
because he went out there and he was saying, like all this fabricated shit, like there's widespread voter fraud, and it's only in places he lost.
Yeah,
places he won, everything is good. Stop counting in Pennsylvania, keep counting in Arizona. You look like an asshole. You make our country look bad.
Yeah.
And to boot, how many Republicans do you see standing up for him right now going widespread voter fraud?
Oh, dude, they're hiding. They're hiding.
None of them
The
have
only
anything
ones
to
that
do
are
with it.
actually saying shit are I don't even think any of them are actually in an office.
Yeah.
I think they're all former. Like, what's his name? Who created his own mess? Rudy Giuliani here in
Correct.
Philadelphia, who said he was having a press conference at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
He just said Four Seasons, though, and it was a lawn place, like on State Road in Northeast Philly.
Was
like,
it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like, dude, they were so you know where State Road and Cottman Ave is?
Yes.
So you know there's an adult bookstore right there.
Yes.
The adult bookstore lost their shit because he had this press conference in their parking lot. They were like, dude, we lost so much. Like, they were like, Rudy Giuliani should send us a check for a few $100s for everything that he cost us on
really?
Saturday, like on Saturday morning or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I like it. But no, so here we are. So we'll go through some legal battles. At the end of the day, it'll get certified and he's out. He lost.
Correct.
We'll go to 2024 and he'll get the opportunity to run again. However, I think this time around, I don't think Republicans, regardless of like his base, I don't think they'll do it again.
No, I don't think so either. They're not going to go, especially when they watch how this goes down, like essentially him leaving office.
Yep.
Like, a lot of people seem to think that he's not going to leave the office.
He's going to leave the office.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, though. Like, a lot of people seem to think that he's going to really, like, give it a hard time and, like, try and, like, do something, I don't know, whatever, with his presidential power.
If he decides not to leave office, imagine that happens across the board.
Right.
Everybody says, you know what, I'm not turning over power. The president doesn't have to, neither do I.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
I mean,
ultimately, both parties are going to come together and go, dude, you need to get out. Here's your eviction notice. You're fired. See you later.
They're going to carry him out. His own Secret Service agents will be carrying him out of the White House. Dude.
Yep.
It will be the funniest, like, I don't even want to say it'd be the funniest because around the world will be laughed at.
Well, he's got to fight for another 60 million. Once he gets that 60 million, then he's good to go. He can pay off all of his campaign debts.
So funny. That might be true. Might be 100% true. He might just stop after after he gets that 60 million.
Yeah. As soon as his debt's paid off and he has he no longer owes any of the money, it's, you know what? I'm going to walk away.
Yeah,
I'm going to end, this was a rigged election. It was stolen from me. I'll be back in 2024.
Yeah, they don't have Biden in and do the whole, normal way that presidents do things.
He won't. He'll be the first president to not hand over power.
Wow. Yeah. I heard it's already causing problems because when this happens, the president-elect starts to get things now that like he should be prepared for when he goes into office.
Right, but they won't sign off on it. And I mean, that's not entirely true. I know that there's other elections that have taken longer to certify where they didn't start. I mean, giving him the briefings doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's supposed to be transitioning. Like he should be transitioning as if it's going to happen no matter what, which is what I think he's doing. But
right.
Anyway, it's Veterans Day. And I think we would both be remiss, especially today, especially after what's happened, that if we didn't take a moment to say, thank you to all our veterans out there for everything that you've done and what you do. And
yeah, absolutely.
For fighting for our freedoms and our ability to have elections like this, even if they're hotly contested and we disagree with people.
And for us to be able to sit right here and do this.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate it.
I wanted to share, I was actually out and about over the weekend and I actually told this story and I forgot how much joy it brings me. So I was going to tell a real quick boot camp story. So when I was 19, I went into the Army. It was
Hold on 1 second. Scott just asked a question. He said, what up, boys? I've tried to get a straight answer from a few people. Now, what if the shoe were on the other foot and Trump did win the election with the same process? Would he still complain about the process? Would anyone else think differently about the process? All I get is a bunch of dancing around the bush.
So the answer is no. It only applies and it only matters if it affects him negatively. So if you look across the country in all the states that he won, no complaints, no issues. Everywhere else, widespread voter fraud. If he lost the state, widespread voter fraud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he started putting the fraud, like, using the fraud language. Like
Mhm.
before like 3 months ago, we started with the fraud stuff.
I want to know how it's illegal from an election like standpoint to run ads basically saying that your opponent is a communist or a socialist when they're not. Like, to me, there used to be something in this country where it was like slander or libelous to say things about somebody that are untrue.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, Trump widely won the Cuban vote down in southern Florida because he was running a bunch of ads comparing Biden to Fidel Castro.
Okay.
He basically called them Fidel Castro's lapdog.
Really? And he's more like Castro than anyone.
Well, the Cubans are very afraid of that. So they look at it and go, we don't want to live under another Castro. That's going to happen. So that's how he stole those votes. So they invested a shit ton of money in just that. But like, I don't know how that's legal. Like, none of it's even remotely true.
No.
So like, everybody else can say that, you know, if you compare Trump to Hitler, you're a piece of shit and that's a horrible thing to do. But it's okay for them to compare Biden to Castro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
we're in an ugly place.
Like we said, he does this all the time with everything he does. He just, he talks out one side of his mouth and tries to, and then hopes people believe it.
Right.
So, and apparently a lot of people do believe it, which is crazy to me.
Yep.
So.
Jones said many fraudulent ads were ran with nothing done. There was a time when that was illegal. And that's what I thought. I mean, I thought that some of the stuff that you would see was bad, but you're not allowed to do it, apparently. But you can. I'll save my story for boot camp for another time.
No, go ahead.
No. I got some other. No, we're good. I got a bunch of other stuff that I want to get to as well. So, first, while we're talking about the election, we briefly touched on Philadelphia, and Fox Business Network host Lou Dobbs.
Uh-huh.
What are you laughing at?
I mean, we don't really talk political stuff, but we've been talking about it for 21 minutes.
Oh, I know. I try to just to like explain from like Rob's perspective and my perspective. We're both kids that grew up in the inner city from Democratic backgrounds and Democratic upbringings. Just the way that it is when you grow up in the city. I voted Republican before for president. Like, I don't have a problem. I think both of us are more centrists, where we see value in both sides, and I think a lot of people are that way. And I think that generally, you and I, when we talk about show prep and we talk about the show, like, just to kind of pull back the curtain, we try not to have conversations like this because we don't want to turn anybody off.
Correct.
Because we live in a society today where people can't live in the middle.
Right.
Like, if you're one thing, you're against me, instead of, hey, let's figure out common ground. Common ground used to be a thing. I've seen a bunch of people this week saying it was the equivalent of I'm moving to Canada when when Trump got elected. It was, I'm jumping off of Facebook because they're censoring us and I'm going to go join Parler. And it's like, cool. So you're going to go join a social media network that's literally ran by hardcore conservatives who have conspiracy theories and Saudi nationalists.
Wait, there's another thing out here?
Parler.
I don't need it anymore.
No, but how can you as a person broaden your horizons or claim to be a good person or a better person if you refuse to look at anything from any other point of view than what fits into your lane?
Oh, I agree. I mean, you have to be able to look at it from every side. Like, even like this in this, I mean, this really shouldn't be a life lesson, but like,
oh, we're going to get the life lessons tonight. I got some really cool shit.
Okay. But I mean, like, for instance, like, no matter what it is, like, if me and you got in an argument over something, like, sometimes I got to look at your point and my point and be like, oh, I'm fucking wrong. Like,
right.
Or like, nah, dude, he's fucking wrong. He needs to realize this. Like, whatever it may be. But like, sometimes it's okay to just be like, all right, okay, my bad.
Having conversations like this today, where we both want to express our conversation, it's really, really our opinion. It's really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I both watched the social, the social dilemma on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
For those of you guys that are listening at home, if you haven't watched it yet, I think I mentioned this before. Watch it. It's really enlightening about what social media is and why things are the way that they are. When they explain on, that Facebook, we're actually the product that Facebook sells, people. They sell us to advertisers, and they manipulate things to put only things that you're going to interact with in front of your face consistently.
Correct.
If we live in a society where you only see opinions about yourself or things that are going to apply just to you, we're going to live in a very self-serving, egotistical kind of lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
We're all going to walk around thinking that the only opinion and the only thing that's right is me. That's it. And I'm going to try to surround myself with only people who think like me and that only have the same thoughts and ideas as me.
But that's not fun.
But what happens there is you wind up having groups that are easily influenced into doing things that they don't normally or shouldn't do. Like it's easier to
like.
That's how fucking cults get started.
Yeah, he almost started.
He is a cult.
Yeah. Yeah, the following sure seems like it.
Dude, the guy can go up there and say, I can murder somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and these people will still vote for me. He said that. That's a direct quote.
Yeah. Like, dude, when the people almost ran Biden's bus off the road, he cheered them.
Yes.
How about in the debate? He said the Proud Boys or whatever, he said, stand back and stand down. Like, you gave a command to someone. Like,
multiple times he's mentioned how the Second Amendment protectors will take care of whoever his opponents are.
Yeah.
He said, how do I know? How do I know what they're going to do? People out there that want to protect the Second Amendment. They have the things to do. They can do stuff. And like to say that he's not going to influence people, like, yes, he can very much do that.
Yes, absolutely.
But we don't ever talk it because we don't want to turn people off. And I think that's kind of the conversation. But you have to be able to have conversations with people and be able to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And if you're going to constantly tell me I'm wrong and you're going to hit me with propaganda because you refuse to take a few minutes to go look stuff up. Like that's like my biggest tool in any argument I have. I'll Google the shit out of stuff.
Oh yeah. Dude, it's like when you see someone go on Facebook and they asked a question to Facebook, it's like, yo, why don't you just type it into Google? It's like Google will give you more information than any single person that can leave a comment here.
The amount of people who refuse to read past the headline.
Oh, yeah.
Like you'll just share it because the headline is flashy and you're like, ooh, this is crazy. I'm going to share this. All of my friends and followers are going to love it. And like 90% of the story is littered with inaccuracies and nothing that's factual. And then what?
Right. And then now that person has misinformation and they're going to go tell someone else. And now that person has misinformation.
I spend so much time Googling shit. Like somebody shared the thing, like I said last night, about Trump and the campaign funds.
Yeah.
A friend of both of ours actually shared it out. Mr. Marcus Arpino from Wildfire. He shared it out. And I was like, that can't be true. You can't use donations that people are giving you for your fucking law defense to be able to pay off your debts, can you? And then I looked it up and there's a ton of stories from reputable sources all over the place. And I'm like, holy shit.
He put a disclaimer on it?
Yeah, that makes sense. 50-60% of this money will be used to pay for the to cover the rest of the campaign funds.
That's hideous, dude.
This is the country we live in.
Hideous. And he wants to fight.
He wants to fight it in every state and needs as much money as possible.
Yep.
Because again, I don't understand how you can get $120 million in debt. Like literally,
I actually want
the average person can't get more than like $1,000 in debt.
Dude,
like behind on their bills.
Do we know anyone who would actually donate money to that?
$60 million have been donated.
No, I'm just asking if we know anyone who would actually donate money to that.
Probably.
So I would love it actually. And this is a call. I want if you donated money, let's call it $100 or more to his law thing. I want you to come in studio and I want you to sit here. I want you to tell me how you could sit here and do that. I just want to know. Because literally I ran 2 fundraisers this year. Okay. I got a total of $1,500.
Right.
That's it. This dude's getting 60 million. Yeah, I know it's president, blah, 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 whatever.
You don't have 1 million followers. You didn't have 70 million people or 69 million people vote for you. Yeah. That's probably the scariest part of all of this.
What? that 69 million people voted for him.
Yes, 69 million people voted for that kind of person.
The only thing I'm happy about with this whole election
is
the
over?
fact
that the commercials are done.
But the fact that I'm impressed that over 150 million people voted.
That's still only like 50% of our population.
Yeah, but if you look up how many registered voters,
yeah,
it's almost like it's in the 90%. Like,
but that's
of
scary.
Registered voters actually
that's
voted.
Scary that 50% of our population of America's population isn't registered to vote.
I thought about that too at first, but you got to think about it. How is half our population could be kids?
When did you start voting?
I don't know, somewhere in my early 20s.
Your early 20s?
Yeah.
So like literally the first election I could vote in. Like I instill this in my kids to this day. Like my kid's a hardcore Republican. I can't even look at him right now.
Still?
Yeah. Hardcore Republican.
So he was all about Trump?
My man was peacocking early, and then when I explained to him you're gonna lose, and I explained why, then he just hit me with a bunch of excuses and that we're going to court and shit like that. Like it was a tense couple hours around my house, but I encourage it. Like I'm cool with everybody else in the house is pretty much, liberal or whatever. And I encourage that shit. I'm okay with it. His mom's Republican, and he goes to his mom's house and they have conversations, and that's awesome. The way that I was raised was I'm going to give you ideas and you do whatever you want with those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to follow the things that I do, or you have your own brain, follow your own shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But like you instill values, and just because he is, it doesn't mean he's not a good person. I mean, it is what it is.
It's kind of funny. So Nate is like, he's at our house, and then he's at his mom's house, and it's a little split,
right?
Like there's different sides there, and he's like, so he hears this one, hears this one, but then he looks up his own stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, my kid's not at that. I'm looking at my own stuff yet because like all of his friends are different.
I think if he was to vote today, he would vote Democrat. But
I don't know. I think my kid's going to be a hardcore Republican, little Reaganite forever, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Is he doing it to troll you though?
No.
Okay.
The only thing that bothers me is like when he hits me with shit that I know isn't true, that he didn't take the time to research. Because at the end of the day, we both know that this generation of kids is extremely lazy.
Oh yeah.
They have everything at their fingertips and do none of it. Like he's trying to tell me how hard it is for school and how stressed he is because he goes to school and he works for 3 hours, 3 days a week after work. And I'm like, bro, we went to school for an extra hour than you guys go to. And then on top of that, like me and Uncle Rob would go to work at Burger King, and like we'd have to be there by 4:30, and we would stay till 9:30, 10 o'clock closing. Like we didn't have time to do like homework and shit after school. You had to get as much of that stuff done at school as you could.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you don't understand how hard it is. I'm like, bud, your schedule's nowhere near as intense as it was when we were in school. And we didn't have fucking computers at our beckoning call to do half the work for us.
Bro, look, isn't it hilarious? Like everything we had to do was on paper.
Yeah.
Okay. You could literally, and this has been so much more exposed now, you can literally miss school and not fall behind.
Absolutely.
Like before last year, if you missed school, like, and you didn't like go about trying to make up that work, you fell behind.
Dude, these kids are going to be really, really fucking sour when they find out they don't get any more snow days.
Oh yeah.
I'll see you on Zoom, 7:55, bub.
Love it.
No more school, no more snow days.
Yeah. Your mom said you had chores too.
I had chores.
Yeah. What? It was, yeah.
It's different. That's the one thing that I hate about being a parent is when my kid tries to act like I've never been 15 before.
Oh my God, bro. It's the worst thing ever. Like
I don't know what it's like. And I'm like, bud, I'm 1,000 times sure. And I'm not just trying to I sound like my parents saying this, but it was harder for me than it is for you. Because I like to think of society as a progressing thing. Each generation gets it a little bit easier than the last generation in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
From a technology standpoint, they caught a boom.
Oh yeah. Bro, they have Chromebooks. All their work is on the damn Chromebook.
They have so much shit that we couldn't even imagine. Like when we were in school, like
they have Google.
Yeah. I would have fucking killed for Google.
Oh my God, dude. Like I would have Googled me book reports left and right. I would have fucking aced English and never even paid attention.
Right. And this is the conversations that I have at home with him.
Yeah. Well, Nate does it too. Like,
sure
you're so, dude, you're so hard on me. And I'm like, dude, listen, shut up. I'm going to be hard on you because guess what? No one was really hard on me to make sure that I did the right thing in school. So I'm going to kick your ass up and down the curb.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to be.
100%. And this is what I go through the same stuff all the time. So just to finish up our election stuff.
34 minutes.
Oh, we go tangents, bro. So as the ballots are being counted in the Pennsylvania Convention Center, this is actually an article from the Inquirer. We very rarely get local stories.
Oh, local.
Yeah, it's local. As ballots are being counted in the convention center last Wednesday night, Fox Business Network host Lou Dobbs trash talked about the electoral process in Philly and wondered aloud why Republicans don't just surround the city. This is a direct quote. Philadelphia looks like a cesspool electorally, he said on his show. Why in the world wouldn't Republicans surround that thing, if you will, at least apply a little, what would you call it, some sort of scent?
Okay. I don't know what he's going for. Doesn't make
Meanwhile, Republican commentator Harlan Hill took to Twitter early Thursday morning to suggest that Republicans should start busing Trump supporters to Philly to make them feel our level of pissed off. Quote, I'm going to Philly tomorrow with the team, he wrote in another tweet. This is war. This is where things went off the deep end. So somebody responded to that tweet and said, don't sleep on our little old ladies and don't pick a fight. And don't think we won't pick a fight with your baby. Legend at my hospital, little old lady brought in by the medics, metal detector kept going off. They found a 38 in her wig. Somebody tweeted, bro, they booed my baby for wearing Mets gear at a Phillies game. You don't want none of Philly.
Oh, dude, it went off. Like, they went off on everything there. But you know what that is? That's an uninformed person who doesn't even pay attention to Philadelphia and understand it's a democratic city.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do you... Like, even Donald Trump. Like, you're complaining because you lost Philadelphia, and it's like, yo,
it
like,
says one of these guys
attention to it.
Oh no, dude! One of these guys is going to order a sub instead of a hoagie at Wawa and catch a fist to the back of the head. You're going to try to intimidate a city that beheaded a hitchhiking robot? Try it, Louise.
What was the other one? Someone said there's going to throw batteries at you, and the game didn't even start or something.
Philly's out here like, hold my cheesesteak.
Oh, dude, there was so much.
We contain at least one white person who has eaten horse apples post Super Bowl win. Philadelphia climbed greased poles. This will not end well. Sure, Lou, go for it. Philadelphia has a museum that almost entirely consists of deformed fetuses in jars, and that doesn't even crack the top 5 of craziest shit in that city.
That's the Mutter Museum, by the way. It's a really cool place. I've yet to be, but I've heard some really good things.
I once went to an A$AP Rocky concert in Philly where a fan maced him while he was on stage performing. All notes are from Philadelphia. They met while running away from an R&B concert that turned into a gang fight. A fucking R&B concert turned into a gang fight. That's a true story. I actually heard Oates tell the story.
Really?
Yes, they met. There was a gang fight at a fucking R&B concert.
Someone should have just posted the Bill Burr comedy video.
Oh, yeah,
like, dude, look, this dude he went off so bad and he kept getting booed the whole time.
Yeah.
Until it turned hilarious.
And they were on his side. They were like, let's do it. Like,
yeah,
he's not wrong. He trashed us because we hold Rocky in a higher esteem than any athlete who's ever played here. That's what Philly is.
Oh, man. Well, that's not true anymore, right?
Somebody referred to Gritty as a meth monster on knife skates or on knife shoes.
Knife shoes.
A meth monster on knife shoes.
Oh, man. Bro, the comments are the funniest thing.
Dude.
Oh.
My buddy that lives in, he's from Boston. He's Beantown, born and bred. And he was like, listen, he's like, Philly's not that place to fuck with. Like, Boston's another major city. They're just as hardcore as we are. But like, when somebody from Boston goes, Philly has a different kind of energy. Like, take notice.
Yeah.
Like, there's few places that you can go to like Philly. Like, we'll squabble amongst each other, but I dare you to say something. We wear all of your insults like a badge of fucking courage. We're like insult Boy Scouts. Like, honestly, we'll sew it right on our shirt.
Jimmy said, I always look for the Santa comments to get a plug in.
Oh, absolutely. Santa boot first. He did. He was a drunken asshole at a game. I got the comments off on my phone, Rob. So if you got anything good, hit us with it.
Yeah. I'm kind of, any of them. Yeah.
So, one of the byproducts of Trump, not just here, around the world, people were just tired of their politicians going up there and feeding bullshit. So there's a lot of people like Trump, like the guy Boris in England. He's their prime minister. Putin's one of those guys. The guy that's in charge of Brazil, who I'm going to touch on in a second. That they all have this like boisterous, we can say whatever we want, there's no repercussions for anything that we do kind of attitude. His name is Jair Bolsonaro. He asks Brazilians not to deal with COVID-19 like fags.
What?
Yes, this is the fucking president of Brazil. He said he drew criticism Tuesday for telling Brazils not to deal with COVID-19 like a country of fags, the far-right leader's latest controversial outburst on the pandemic.
What does that mean?
Bolsonaro has consistently downplayed the virus, even as it has killed 163,000 people in Brazil, the second highest death toll worldwide after the United States. Now, Brazil is like a quarter of the United States.
Yeah.
And they're like just below us in deaths.
Wow.
He made the comment during a meandering speech at the presidential palace in which he also appeared to threaten U.S. President-elect Joe Biden. All anyone talks about these days is the pandemic. We need to stop that, during a speech which was ostensibly about tourism. He said, I regret the deaths, I really do, but we're all going to die someday. There's no use fleeing reality. We have to stop being a country of fags. We have to face up to it and fight. I hate this faggot stuff. This is the fucking president of Brazil who gave this at his speech.
Ooh. Wow.
Like, how do people become so empowered that you can, as the president of the country, say that?
I don't even know. That's mind-boggling, honestly, because damn, dude, like
That blows your mind, right?
You know what's funny is, like, here in our country, they literally are asking you not to use that word ever.
Correct.
And that dude's he's a president saying it to his country.
Correct.
Wow.
And using it in reference to the fucking coronavirus and not handling it properly. Yeah. When clearly your country fucking sucks when it comes to it.
Yeah. What's up, boo-boo?
Unbelievable. I have so much stuff that's like backed up that we haven't gotten to in a while. I do want to touch on this before we get into some more articles. So I was actually scrolling through looking for content for the show. And I came up with something. I was driving some guy in an Uber like a week ago, the guy that I took to the airport. I listened to last week's episode, and he said something to me. He goes, how old are you? What are you, in your 30s? And I went, no. And he goes, you look young for your age. I said, I'm in my 40s. And he said, if I could give any advice to you, because I'm in my late 50s, I think he was, and he looked like he was young as shit. And he goes, we age the most as a population in our 40s. Which, if you've ever heard anybody talk, like your 40s where it starts to go down health-wise, go downhill. And then I start thinking about like everything else. Like, how much have you changed from 30 to 40, right?
Right.
Like, you're a different person, I would say, from 30 to 40. The same way that you're a different person from 20 to 30, right?
Okay.
So I was looking and I came across something, and it is this is the things that everyone should know before turning 40. So we're 40 now, or I'll be 42 in a couple months. You just turned 41 in June. I was curious as we go through the list to see how many of these were like, yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
Like, I'm kind of at that point. Number one, you let go of some of your control. So you stop worrying about things like body-wise, like appearance-wise. Like, you're not constantly going, you know what? Like, I'm just sitting around the house. I'm going to wear jeans.
Oh, dude. Like, no. Yeah.
Like, you stop shaving regularly. You're like, I can go with some 5 o'clock shadow here. Like, I don't have to shave every single day.
I don't even shave anymore.
Right.
Like once a week, I'll clean up the inner side on the yeah.
Right. So
Definitely.
you let go of that control of needing to constantly be in control of everything about
I'll
you.
go like a month and a half without
Right.
a haircut sometimes. Like I
You-
look like a damn wolf.
Right. And that leads into number 2. You care less about how others perceive you,
I
which
don't.
don't even care.
As long as my wife and kids are cool with it, I'm alright with it.
I think this one, number 3, has more to do with like by 40, you're probably married and have a family. Your fear of being alone subsides. Like you're not worried about dying alone anymore. Like the thought doesn't even cross your mind. You think about dying, but not
Yeah,
by
no,
yourself.
I was alright. I'm cool with that.
Right. You'll be amazed at how easily you can walk away from toxic relationships. That's so true.
Oh yeah.
For me, like when I turned probably like 39, I started evaluating shit and I said, I don't need to be around people who I just don't give a shit about anymore. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. Like if they give you a headache, just get away.
it's not
from
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Your
Yeah.
priorities change.
Yeah.
Which I think that's true. You think about things differently. Number 6 is one of those things that, yes, getting adequate sleep becomes one of the priorities to you.
Oh, bro, dude, listen. So like I kind of been battling like a little like head cold and stuff.
Oh, great. Corona.
No. But yeah, dude, like I've literally went to bed at like 9 o'clock a couple days this week.
Yeah. I say this as I'm drinking a cup of coffee, but I'm more leery now of drinking specific things that I know are going to keep me up. Like, so I won't drink coffee after like 3 o'clock. And like, I'm sketchy on soda at certain times. Like, I'm 41.
So I actually, one of the things that I changed, I don't drink soda.
No.
I drink coffee and water and alcohol.
Which one do you prefer the most? Alcohol?
Coffee.
Coffee too. Your social circle gets smaller. I would agree with that.
Yes.
You spend less time worrying about adding to your social calendar by adding more people, and you're just like, fuck it. I'd rather just sit around a fire and drink a couple beers.
Or yeah.
Yes. Everyone gets very concerned about your plans for a family. You and I got married, had kids young, so that one really doesn't apply to us. We were well past that. If you're single, you'll get a ton of relationship advice, which I could see. If you're single at 41, people are constantly probably like, I should fix you up with so-and-so, or they constantly want to give you advice on how you can get to where you're at.
Where they're at, yeah.
Your inhibitions fade. It says you have decades of practice and trying new things under your belt by the time you hit 40, meaning that you're less likely to experience a newly inhibition-free existence. This has more to do with like sex. You're willing to try more things after 40.
Really? Is that what it is?
Yeah, like that's your inhibitions.
Okay.
So long indecisiveness and sex with the lights off, and you're ready to switch things up. So that's why like probably more people have affairs in their 40s. If you were like a tight ass all the way through like your 20s and 30s, like that's where like 40's the new 30, and like fucking women are leaving their husbands because they're like, I'm out doing whatever. Like some dude touches their butthole and all of a sudden they're like, woo, life is amazing, right? Your embarrassment reflex turns off too. That I will agree with. I'm way less embarrassed about things that I would have been worried about in my younger years.
Dude, I don't really even.
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed anymore at all. I don't really care.
Yes, this one's definitely true. Your preference for experiences outweighs your desire for fancy things.
Yeah.
So I've noticed as I've gotten older, I want to see more things around the world than I do want to own things.
Yeah. Like
I'll see an expensive car on TV and I'm just like, but then I'll see a commercial for somewhere right afterwards and I'm like, ooh, that looks fucking awesome.
yeah, dude. Like, I mean, that's true. Me and the wife were talking about it. Like, we want to get a bigger car for the family. And she was like, let's buy a new one. And I'm like, no, it's too much money.
Yeah, we're not doing
out.
Yeah. Let's talk about next year's vacation.
Yeah.
People start coming to you for advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, if you're a dad and you have kids, your kids come to you for advice sometimes, I guess.
Well, no, like your friends do too. Some of them. I mean, like some friends are calling you like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or, yeah. So,
forgetfulness becomes a frequent issue.
Oh, dude, I can forget any.
Yeah. You stop sourcing your style from celebrities. That's totally true.
Yeah, I got the Rob Rennie style. That's it.
Yeah, but like in the past, you would try to be more trendy, and that comes from that celebrity culture. But now it's more comfort than it is anything. You no longer care that you're out of touch with pop culture. So for me, pop culture, because of what we do, actually plays a huge role.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that doesn't apply to us too much, but I could see if we didn't do this or I wasn't in sales, it wouldn't matter as much.
But if I miss something, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if Kim Kardashian does something, I'm like, okay, whatever.
It's more like the humor side of it. You've been
Oh,
officially.
dude, absolutely. I love to laugh at shit that
Yeah.
they do, though. Like, I think it's funny.
This one's actually funny too. You've been officially upgraded to sir or madam, sir or ma'am.
Nah, I don't think that one really applies so much.
So like when you go to like a Wawa or like a store and somebody calls you sir, you're just kind of, you don't like kind of raise an eyebrow like what?
No, I don't.
Dude, I totally
It doesn't
get that.
happen that much.
I totally get that. Like when I go out somewhere and somebody's like, "Oh, excuse me, sir," and I'm like,
So
Sir,
I feel like
I feel 20. I don't feel 40.
No, like I feel like I think I feel my age.
Yeah.
But I don't think I look my age.
Right.
And I also don't think I talk my age, so to speak. Like I feel like if I go into a Wawa and the person behind the counter and I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?"
Right.
Like I feel like that's a different way of like then they communicate. Whereas if I was like, "Hey, son, how are you?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, just my opinion.
Now
I'm gonna have to pay attention for that one though.
Yeah. As you should. But yeah, I get called sir or I get called that, and then I kind of like raise an eyebrow at it. This is one that's true as well. Your midlife crisis won't necessarily involve a tattoo or a sports car. As we just said a couple minutes ago, like the things that you own become less important, more the experiences. If I had to say anything to this point, which would be a midlife crisis, it was me on a whim going to Vegas this past summer.
Okay.
Like we literally scheduled it and went like in a 3-week time frame in the middle of a fucking pandemic. And I was like, I had this urge. I need to do it.
Yeah. You've been talking about it for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And like somebody asked the other day, like once this pandemic's over, what's the one thing that you want to go do? I want to go see Niagara Falls. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. It's on my list. I want to go see it. So like, that's more like my midlife crisis is more, I want to go see things. And I feel like I'm running out of time to see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
People start dealing with serious health issues. That applies to me. Getting a physical starts to be a nerve-wracking experience. Those both are true for me.
I kind of like, think about that one though a little bit.
Every doctor's appointment is loaded with new tests. Yes.
No, I'm still all right on that one.
Your sex life slowing down isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think because we're on the earlier end of 40, that doesn't, I don't know.
There's no slowdown in mine.
Yeah, same.
I'm cool. I'm
it
good.
Says, well, because the sex itself is better, and that's where the inhibitions are gone. Gray hair is practically inevitable. That's true.
Yep.
Hair starts showing up in unexpected places. The last time we did the live show, we had this conversation about how I can't grow a fucking lick of hair on my head, but that on my tragus, that little piece of your ear, like I have hair that grows off of there.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you have a dozen creams for different parts of your body. Not really. Wrinkles don't blindside me. Glasses become a necessity. You've always worn glasses. I wear them sometimes.
Your mom said we're making her day. We're old.
Yeah. Your bladder weakens. That's true. There's not a highway I haven't peed on. Your body.
I kind of agree with that one though.
This is true.
I feel like I can't hold it in as much.
No way. This one's very true. Your body responds very, very differently to alcohol.
Oh, dude. So like, and I don't know, maybe this is just me. No, it ain't just me, I'm sure. I don't drink a lot anymore. Like, because to me, like the next day,
yeah,
I feel like shit. Like, and that's even like if I only drink a little bit.
Right.
Like the negative effect it has on me ruins my next day. So it's almost like this better be a really fun experience because I don't want to ruin tomorrow.
I went out with some neighbors on Saturday night and I drank a 6-pack. And it wasn't even like an IPA. It wasn't even anything that was hard. I drank a 6-pack of Michelob Ultra.
Right.
And like I drank, actually it was a little more than a 6-pack. It was six cans of Michelob Ultra, and then I had a Miller Lite and a Roll 'em Rock. So 8 beers. And it was over the course of 4 hours. So at a rate of 2 beers per hour, which old me, that's like a fucking,
That's like a normal night out.
that's like Tuesday happy hour. Like not even a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I woke up the next day feeling so dehydrated and pissed at myself that I didn't leave at 10. Like it's such a long day on Sunday. Like, do you plan like you're drinking around like I got to get up early tomorrow? The lawn's got to get cut. If it doesn't get cut tomorrow,
there's some of that goes into it. You know what else I'll do if I know I'm going to go somewhere and have drinks?
Yeah,
I will flood myself with water like that whole day.
Yeah.
So like,
but it's funny how like this is the part of like crossing that 40 threshold where you start planning ahead for like shit like that. Like I literally am disgusted with myself because I can't find the free time to rake the leaves out of my yard. Like disgusted with myself. When I leave the house in the morning, I give myself a pep talk like this weekend's the weekend we're going to do it.
So, you know, it's funny, leaves. So up until this week, my yard was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I only had like a little bit of covering. It was kind of over to the right of my house, like where the neighbors was. His whole yard was covered. I was good though.
Right.
Like I'm enjoying looking at my fresh grass seed I planted. Like that's other shit you do when you're 40 and own a house. You plant grass and you admire it for months.
I've heard you talk about your neighbor's lawn the way some people talk about their kids.
Dude, he's got a fabulous lawn. Fabulous.
I've heard you talk about it.
But listen, he literally he's retired. All he does is take care of his damn grass.
Right.
Like it's beautiful. He cuts it every Thursday, like religiously.
Right.
Eric said he can't wait.
Who said this?
Eric. But like I've been reading about grass. You got to start it now. You got to plant your grass in September and October and November.
Right.
It grows sweet. And then when next year comes up, it looks amazing. So I'm really hoping for that. And I'm going to keep building on that.
Build on it.
I am.
You should. All right. We're going to hit you with some, we're going to do rapid fire news so I can clear out some of my news stories because they've been backing up and they're becoming less
relevant.
Yeah, I guess relevant. Some of them are just, they're timeless. This one goes back 3 weeks, but let me see. How can I want to frame it? So gay penguins stole an entire egg nest from lesbian penguins.
What?
Yeah. Drama is afoot in the Dutch queer penguin community after 2 gay lovers with a reputation for trouble stole an entire nest of eggs from a neighboring lesbian couple at the same zoo.
You can't make this shit up, huh?
No, I didn't even know that like penguins could be like gender specific, like where they're just like, yeah, I just assume all animals in the fucking wild are like, I only bang my opposite sex. Like I thought that humans were the only ones that, you know, had that difference, you know.
That's great though.
Within the queer penguin community at large, fostering
wait, there's actually a queer community for penguins.
Yeah.
I can't wait to join this Facebook group.
Within the queer penguin community at large, fostering eggs is relatively common. On multiple occasions, zoos and aquariums have gifted unhatched eggs to gay and lesbian couples exhibiting behavior that suggests they're desperate for a chick, like building mock nests out of pebbles. But rather than demanding the same of their caretakers, one pair of African penguins at the Deeren Park Zoo in Amerisport instead took the matter into their own claws by snatching eggs from 2 mothers-to-be. The conniving boys have since been sharing caregiving duties, taking turns keeping the eggs warm and foraging for fish.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. One brave hero biked 69 miles a day. This is on purpose. One brave hero biked 69 miles a day to get from Poo Poo Point to Pee Pee Creek.
Poo Poo to Pee Pee, huh?
Yep. He went to Poo Poo Point Trail to Pee Pee Creek.
What state? I think I read about
this. It's a summit on West Tiger Mountain in Washington, and Pee Pee Creek is in Ohio.
Oh shit. Okay.
But the funny thing is, it took him 36 days. He would only travel 69 miles and shut it down for the day. Which just makes it 10 times funnier. This is literally like every child's dream.
Yeah.
Like if you say pee-pee, they laugh. You say poo-poo, they laugh. You say 69, they laugh. This guy found a way to combine all three of them.
That's pretty.
Not all heroes wear capes, Rob.
That's great. I love it.
Obese,
39 days.
Yeah. Obese monkey, Uncle Fatty is his name, is missing from fat camp and presumed dead. They literally have a fat camp for monkeys.
Dude, what the?
He can't walk. Like he's so huge.
So how's he missing?
I don't know.
How the fuck did he get away?
He went to fat camp, dude.
How did he get away?
Dude, an obese monkey in Thailand who went viral for his fat tummy is missing. Even worse, it's presumed he's dead.
Oh man, I hope he's all right.
The monkey, nicknamed Uncle Fatty, went missing from a fat camp that he was at to reduce his weight, but he's been missing for the last 4 months, and it does not look good. The monkey weighed 33 pounds, which is 2 times a regular size monkey.
Really?
Yeah. He got fat by tourists who kept feeding him high-calorie food and drinks, and he got lazy because he didn't have to forage for food.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So they put him in fat camp, and now he's missing.
That's funny.
This is what I have. I have all these backed up stories like this, Rob. A woman was arrested for calling 911 about bad Chinese food. A 44-year-old Ohio woman was arrested on Monday after calling 911 to report Chinese food that was not up to par for her liking. Tracy McLeod of Alliance placed a call to the emergency number from inside Main Moon Chinese restaurant. They didn't qualify it as an emergency, and she was arrested and charged with misuse of 911.
What was her complaint?
Doesn't say what her complaint was, just says you're not allowed to do that shit.
Okay.
This one's close to my heart. So a man failed to win a crane machine 200 times, and he called the police on the arcade.
Was this Pops?
No, I wish it was Pops. So Japanese crane games, or UFO catchers as they're called, have a huge variety of prizes ranging from slices of fancy cake to bottles of dish soap. But what the crane games are infamously known for is how hard they are to win. As we found out before, you can put around $100 in and still end up with little for your effort. An extreme example of this was recently brought to the attention of the internet by Japanese Twitter user Oganton, when they posted this message after failing 200 times and calling the police. Apparently, this continued for 300 tries.
All right, listen.
It says, so he posted, he said, I couldn't win, so the police are here now. The police are investigating the staff member who still hasn't won yet. Apparently, they did this for 300 tries until the staff member finally moved the prizes to an easier location and was able to catch one. Oganton himself played with the items in the new position and was able to win too. The police decided to take no action this time. So why this is actually a big deal is it's actually illegal to in Japan to do it, to not to have a machine that's rigged so the person doesn't win.
Really?
Yeah, it's illegal.
So wait, they don't have like slot machines and shit?
They do, but the crane machines, if it's impossible to win, it's illegal. I don't know what they do to them, but you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah, but do you think that maybe like this guy just sucked at it?
No, because the store clerk that worked there did it too, and he 300 times couldn't win.
No. Maybe they both just sucked at it.
Bullshit.
I bet your Pops could have won that bitch.
Yeah, Pops would have fucking shook the machine.
Yeah, dude, you gotta have a little strategy, right? Like you move something out of the way to get to something else. Like, come on.
Yeah. A woman demands free Chick-fil-A after claiming that she was an FBI agent, and then she got arrested.
For not being an FBI agent.
Yes. The rest of that story doesn't really matter. It's just a headline. What do we got?
I got one for you.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah.
What you got?
3 men banned from Yellowstone after trying to cook a chicken in the geyser.
All right. So I know that the geyser is really, really hot.
The group was found with 2 whole chickens in a burlap sack in one of the park's scalding hot thermal features. So they've been temporarily banned from Yellowstone. The incident took place on August 7th. According to the spokesman for the national park, a ranger received a group of hikers with cooking pots towards Shane Geyser Basin. When a ranger found the group, it was discovered that the group had 2 whole chickens in a burlap sack in a hot spring. A cooking pot was found nearby. 3 men in the group were charged and pled guilty to charges on September 10th. Eric and Dallas Rogers were charged to serve 2 days in jail and pay $540 in fines, according to the Associated Press. The third man, Eric Romrell, 49, paid $1,250.
Eric Nieves.
He can't wait. All 3 men are banned from the national park for the next 2 years.
Right.
When asked what they were doing in the park, Eric Roberts reportedly told a ranger they were trying to make dinner.
So does it work?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it says here, it is illegal to touch thermal features or throw objects into hot springs or other hydrothermal features in the park. Yellowstone National Park requests that visitors stay on boardwalks, designated trails, and food is not allowed in geothermal areas.
So now I kind of want to go see Yellowstone Park because I want to see these boardwalks you're talking about.
Be cool.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm into it. What else you got?
So that's it.
That's it?
That's all I got this week.
Jesus,
Wait,
man.
actually, I might have one more. Hold on. Sorry, man. It's been a busy day. Busy week so far.
While you're doing that, I'll tell another quick one.
Where am I? I text them all to myself.
Hang
Do you
on.
ever text yourself?
I do. I'll tell you how I do it after the show to get you better prepared. So man on a spiritual journey steals deputy's cruiser and credit card. A 20-year-old man is in jail after stealing an Alachua County deputy's cruiser from the Gainesville Regional Airport on Thursday night. It's always Florida, man. According to the deputies, video surveillance showed Duncan Smith leaving the airport in the vehicle around 8:34. 2 hours later, deputies were notified that Smith used a credit card that was in the stolen car. Deputies caught up with him and arrested him. Deputies say Smith confessed to stealing the cruiser because he was on a spiritual journey and needed to find a way home.
Okay.
He found his way right into court.
Cool.
All right. I think that's all we got for this week. Let's wrap it up. Don't forget, big live show next week. It's going to be us, Lady Juice, Santa Boot first, and Row Homies are having some health issues, so they're going to be stepping out of it, and we're actually going to have the guys from Devereaux Sports come. So there'll still be 4 shows. MMR's Camp Out for Hunger. Bring a food item with you to Patty Wax. Get a free beer or free patty chips. And then you're going to get 4 hours of just enjoyment and laughter, and you get to see Rob's pretty face and my pretty face together.
Yeah, I'm going to be on 4 shows next week.
Yeah. And as an added bonus, we'll have a co-host in with us to help assist. Mike Hanratty will be with us again because we love having him on. So that's our show for this week. Remember to download, subscribe, give us some reviews, help us keep our numbers up. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good one. See you.